Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. So, Glory Srila Prabhupada. I hope you all are well. Welcome you all to His Only Candramauli Maharaja's daily call. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you're having the lovely day wherever you are today. And I hope you're having a lovely Krishna conscious day today. So today our class will be, I'll try to speak something on the verse on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, verse number 38 to 40. Please forgive me if I make many mistakes, and please bless me so that I can speak something relevant to the topic coming from the previous acharyas, from Srila Prabhupada's books, and purifying myself, and hopefully it will be good discussion between all of us. Thank you. Let me quickly share the verse with you all. Okay. So today's verse goes as follows. ततोभ्यस्तस्मान् बालो गले सर्पाकलेवरं पित्रं वीक्ष्य दुःखार्तो मुक्तकाण्ठोरुरोधः. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very loudly. We'll just do a small Punglacharan. Om Agyanam Timrandasya Gyanam Shalom Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So purport is, the boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake, and he wanted to be relieved of the burden on his heart by crying. So after entering the hermitage and seeing his father in that condition, he cried loudly so that he might be relieved. But it was too late. The father regretted the whole incident. So what first we will read the three translations, and then we'll go back and we'll discuss. So verse number 19, translation is as follows. O Brahmanas, the rishis, who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. And the last one is, he threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. The father did not take the dead snake on his neck very seriously. He simply threw it away. Actually, there was nothing seriously wrong in Maharaj Parikshit's act, but the foolish son took it very seriously, and being influenced by Kali, he cursed the king, and thus ended a chapter of happy history. So this is the three verse when is spoken by Sudha Goswami, that what has happened is when Shringi has cursed Maharaj Parikshit, and he has returned to hermitage, and he sees his father a snack in his neck, basically on his shoulders. So there are from three different verses, we see three things coming out from this. So first one is talking about the grief. So how did he perform the grief, and how did he lament it about his actions, and he realized what mistake he has done. So so it says that he understood what mistake he has done, and that made him cry. So this was when he made he regretted, like his father regretted the whole incident, but mainly about the boy, that is the first time he realized that he has made a big mistake, and that this is why out of his burden on his shoulders, it says that he was crying loudly. So this is first thing what comes out from this verse, particularly that he was lamenting of his actions. And this is a very good, a good sign for him, that he realized it, what mistakes is, because some people, sometime it happens that we make a mistake and we don't realize it. And it says that he was crying very loudly, and it shows clearly that he was really lamenting very hard, that whatever he has done, he has made a big mistake. And this verse actually teaches us that making mistake, it happens, it all, this is all the will of the Lord. Basically, whatever has happened, it was the will of the Lord. He was the son of Shamika Rishi, and Shamika Rishi is a great Brahman. His son also had the power. If he had the power, he definitely had some intelligence as well. But whatever had happened, it was the arrangement of the Lord, that the Kali had to start. And this is why the Kali, that time of the happy history, what Prabhupada has mentioned, that time had to end. Otherwise, it would have gone and all gone and gone, and Kali would not have time to kick off that period. That Yuga would not have kicked off. And this was the particular one incident that had happened, and because of action of the Shangi, that has caused the Kali to kick off, start. And so definitely it was the arrangement of the Lord. However, Shingi realized it, and he felt it, and he understood it. So the few things it had happened, that he understood he had made a mistake, and he was lamenting it, and he was crying out for it. So that shows that a person should, it teaches us that a person should learn, first of all, that he realized his mistake, and then, and lament it as well. If you made a mistake, lament it. Make, you should be said that you have done such a big mistake, or something, any small or big mistake is mistake, but one not repeat the mistake as well. Understand it, and one should lament it as well, that you have made it. So that is the whole point of this one, that Shringi's lamentation has been explained. In the second verse is mainly what is saying is, O Brahmanas, the Rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying. So this verse specifically glorifies Shamika Rishi, that who was he. So Angira Muni, as you know, that he was one of the rishis, and from who was came from Brahma. Basically, Brahma created them to create the progeny in his creation. So Angira Muni, there is a glorification of Angira Muni. Prabhupada is given in this verse. We'll maybe read it to understand what his position was and which family Shamika Rishi came from. So in first canto 19, chapter 9 and 10 verses, Angira Muni's glorification has been given. Prabhupada has said that who he was. He is one of the 6 mental sons of Brahma and the father of Brahaspati, the great learned priest of the demigods in the heavenly planets. He was born of the semen of Brahmaji, given to a cinder of fire. Uttaya and Samvrata are his sons. It is said that he is still performing austerity and chanting the holy name of the Lord at a place known as Alokananda on the banks of the Ganges. So Shamika Rishi has come in the family of Angira, and you can see that what lineage he has come from. He is coming from directly Brahma to Angira to in the family Shamika Rishi. So Shamika Rishi was a very saint sage. He was above the as in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that we should stay, we should be we should not have effect of sukh dukh and man apman and cold and heat. So Angira Rishi was above all these things, above all this, material conception of things, whatever can affect our body, mind, and our heart. So as you can see, cold and heat, it mainly affects our body. When we feel cold and heat on our hand, it's body really related. And when it comes to sukh and dukh, it affects our heart. Something happens, someone close and dies in the family, sukh and dukh, all these things, with job related, anything material, we lose any material, positions or anything that is causes us material, or any position, like relations in our family, anything can cause us sukh and dukh. So that is more, it hurts us. But man and apman goes at one above level. So you have heat, cold, sukh, dukh, and man and apman. Man and apman goes at the egoistic level, where you feel that when you don't feel hurt by someone is defaming you, or you saying something wrong about you, doing something wrong. Like for example, in this case, when Parikshit Maharaj had put the snake on Angira Muni, he did not felt bad about it, because he was not at that level. He didn't feel bad. He did not feel that upman in his heart. And this is where it glorifies. He's crossed the stages of man and upman, it says. And also one more thing is that samadhi, he was in samadhi. So samadhi makes a person very powerful, because you're doing such a great austerity, performing a penance. It makes you powerful within your heart, in your mind, and your body as well. And you lose the propensity to fight, to have an envious nature, to get angry at someone. And you understand who is truth. Like Krishna is the supreme personality of truth. And Angira knew who was Parikshit Maharaj as well. He knew that how great king he was, and how pure devotee he was. So Angira, sorry, as Shamika Rishi, he was at that level that he understood who Parikshit Maharaj's position, Lord's will, and whatever Parikshit Maharaj could do in that time, like whatever he has done. So he was not angry with him. And one more thing was, Srila Prabhupada has somewhere has said that sometimes mistakes are forgiven, as mistakes are not intentional to harm someone. So Shamika Rishi did not took the mistake, because as we can see from our perspective, we see that Parikshit Maharaj has made a mistake, though he was thirsty. However, he shouldn't have put the snake on, because he should have realized that that sage is doing the meditation. He's sitting in his samadhi. So so but Shamika Rishi forgot that mistake. He didn't take it to his heart. And one more thing, what it says, that in this, that he he did not take that snake. He just saw the dead snake around his neck, but he just threw it. In the next verse, it says that he just threw the snake, and he asked Shamika Rishi, what has Shingi, that what has happened. And one more thing about in this is, why did Shamika Rishi did not take this action of Parikshit Maharaj seriously. And what I mentioned about samadhi, as samadhi is same as when we sit in samadhi, when we sit and do our japa, for a sadhak to have a strong sadhana. And I always say that to have a strong sadhana makes us very powerful. And as you can see, Shamika Rishi did not took his action, Parikshit Maharaj's action, strongly. But same thing can happen with us as well in our day-to-day life. When we deal with devotees, when our sadhana is strong, when we have faith that everything happens by Krishna's will, nothing moves by the Lord's, not even a single leaf move without the Lord's will. And then this understanding, when we have this understanding, when then that time we won't feel good or bad about things. Anyone will do anything with us, we'll just let it go. you know so this is why it's very important to have a strong sadhana, to have a power of the holy name on our tongue all the time, and in our heart all the time. If we're keeping the Lord inside our heart, then none of these impurities will affect us. It will not come near us. So this is few of the examples of having a strong sadhana, and becoming that sadhak, a strong sadhak. Um, and being in, like, a devotee's life is like having doing being in the samadhi all the time. Even if you're grasta or brahmachari or sannyasi, if you're in Krishna consciousness, if you're thinking about the Lord, if you're serving, whatever little you're doing, whatever it is service, if your meditation, if your thought is in that service all the time, then then none of these things will come and affect your mind and impurify your mind. Like, you won't have impact of that. Because what happens that this is small things comes in our life. Someone has said that, someone has said done this with me, someone said this to that person, and blah blah blah, and all these things. And even in the services itself, we have, sometimes we feel, because we have to understand that all the devotees, they all want to please Lord. It's just the way they have different views, because not all five fingers are right, same in the hand. And Lord has made, we are all different personalities, we all have different views, we have all had different upbringings. So, and on top of that, the karma works on all of us, and we are conditioned. So whatever happen or situation we are in, there is a reason for it. Yeah. So we have to understand that. And when we understand, and we have a strong sadhana, we have holy name, we have we are reading the scriptures, at that time we become a proper person who is in the samadhi, who will not get affected by the strong up and down of the life, by the strong, by any words, by saying by anyone, or done any by anything, or by anyone. So this is very important to understand that what is samadhi means, and what the samadhi relates to us, as being us as sadhaka. And the next verse is also, this verse, we'll read this verse again. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. So in this one, what had happened, that if we see the difference, basically, what Shamika Rishi did and what Shingi did. Shamika Rishi just took the snake and threw it around, threw it. But Shingi took it very seriously. So, this is making like a mountain out of hill, mole. What happens in mountain making out of mole is, you know, you take small dirt from everywhere, and you collect that at one place, and then you make a mountain out of it. So this is what has happened in this case. What Shingi did, that just a small, snake and on the shoulder, and Parikshit Maharaj, he did not understand the position of Parikshit Maharaj, and he cursed him. So in small actions, and what is, there are a few more examples in, Bhagavatam has been given. Like for example, Durvasha Muni, what he did with Amrish Maharaj, because Amrish Maharaj drank a sip of water, just a drop of water on the Ekadashi before he came. He took that, and he wanted to curse him, you know, but Lord took that seriously. So what he did is make a mountain out of mole. And same happened with Daksha and Shiva's pastime as well. When Shiva did not get up from the seat, when Daksha came in the assembly, and Daksha wanted, there was so much cursing, counter cursing were happening in that pastime as well. So this is where, for us as being a sadhakas, we have to remember that do not take any small things. Don't make a small thing to a very big scene. Just think over it. Think that, is this really a big thing for me to raise a voice on it? Do we really need to take any action on this? Can we not just talk in private or do something other? Think of different things, how you can resolve a particular issue. So this is one thing, that we should not encourage or discuss or make a gossip about a small incident which can happen by a person's conditioning or person's mistake. We just calm down around your environment and for yourself as well. And one more thing, what Shingi did in this case is tit for tat, as you all know, that if he did that, let me curse him back. So we have the tendency, this is the nature of the conditioned nature, that that we want to prove. We want to prove, and Shingi wanted to prove that I'm the son of Brahmana. I can curse you. I can do this, and this is why we should also, as being sadhaka, we should remember that we shouldn't try and revenge, and we shouldn't be envious of things, like like how Shingi replied back, what he said, that whatever, because it that was complete disrespect to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj, being such a great devotee, as Srila Prabhupada says, actually there was nothing seriously wrong in Parikshit Maharaj's act. But the foolish son took it very seriously. And this is why the Parikshit Maharaj's glorification, actually, it's Parikshit Maharaj was so pure devotee. He took the darshan of Krishna in mother's womb. He gave the place to Kali, you know, He would have killed Kali at that time, but he was so compassionate that he told him that you will have 4 places to stay. So he was so compassionate. How could he do anything, like, and even though the whole scenario is a situation what was created by the Lord. It was like Parikshit Maharaj was hungry, was thirsty, and Lord's devotees are not thirsty. They are not bound by all this action. So there is one verse which Krishna himself has said the qualities of his devotee, and that will be a very long verse actually, but it will be really nice to read together. So let me read this, and a few points has definitely, has come out from this verse, which directly relate to Parikshit Maharaj and what has happened in this whole incident. So let's read this together. This is from 11th chapter. This is from 11th chapter, 11th canto, 11th chapter, and 29 and 32 verses. So let's read this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Uddhava, a saintly person is merciful and never injures others. Even if others are aggressive, he is tolerant and forgiving toward all living entities. His strength and meaning in life come from the truth itself. He is free from all envy and jealousy, and his mind is equal in material happiness and distress. Thus, he dictates his time to work for the welfare of all others. His intelligence is never bewildered by material desires, and he has controlled his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary, and is free from possessiveness. He never endeavors in ordinary worldly activities, and he strictly controls his eating. He therefore always remains peaceful and steady. A saintly person is thoughtful and accepts me as his only shelter. Such a person is very conscious in the execution of his duties and is never subject to superficial transformations because he is steady and noble. Even in a distressing situation, he has conquered over the 6 material qualities, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. He is free from all desire for prestige and offer honor to others. He is expert in reviving the Krishna consciousness of others and therefore never cheats anyone. Rather, he is a well wishing friend to all, being most merciful. Such a saintly person must be considered the most learned of men. He perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possesses favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken shelter of my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worship me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. So, so beautifully, this verse completely, and explains what Krishna is, a number of times, again and again, saying the qualities of his devotees. He has mentioned few times in Bhagavad Gita already, and is again in Uddhav Gita. He is explained to Uddhav what are the qualities of my devotee, how are they like, and Parikshit Maharaj had all these qualities. As you can see, he says that he was free from envy and jealousy. His mind is equal in material happiness and distress. Then he was free from thirst. So these are all. Then again, it says that he is well-wishing friend to all and being most merciful, as he was merciful and compassionate to Kali, did not kill him. And then he says he takes complete shelter at my lotus feet. However, saintly person ultimately renounces. So what Parikshit Maharaj did, that he had the qualities, but whatever arrangement was made because of the Lord's and what a Lord's will. What Parikshit Maharaj could do, that he was, powerful king. He could curse, he could counter curse, or he could do anything. Basically, he did not have to take the curse on him, but he took it as the will of the Lord, and he completely surrendered, completely sheltered at the lotus feet of the Lord, and took his death as in 7 days. He decided, he agreed to, leave his body. He left everything, his possessions, everything. He started to worship, and this is why Srimad Bhagavatam came, for us to, to read, understand, and glorify the Lord's pastime. So these are the few things, a few learnings from these verses are that we should not have the revenge, mentality, and we should try and forgive as much as we can. And this is basically not the Vaishnava culture, so we should not think if someone has done something with me, so I will do the same. So we should not have that mentality. Next is the sadhaka should be, as sadhakas should live their life as a samadhi, so that they can, they are always in the thoughts of Krishna and they understand who Lord is, and their sadhana should be strong enough. Then next we should not make mountain out of molehill. Small things should not be discussed, should not be, it can be discussed, but it should not be taken to the next level. It should be put to bed ASAP. Otherwise, these things can cause so many distractions in our life, in our mind, and it can badly affect our sadhana as well. And what we can learn from, Parikshit Maharaj's behavior, that whatever he has taken as whatever happened with him, he has taken the shelter of the Lord. He understood that this was the will of the Lord. So whatever happens with us in our life, good or bad, we should think that this is the will of the Lord, and this is how Lord will want me to do it. And same as what happened, Narad Muni's life as well. When his mother was bitten by the snake, he decided, he understood that this was the will of the Lord, and he took the next steps to meditate and to perform austerities to take the darshan of the Lord. And within 6 months, he took the darshan of the Lord. Lord gave him the darshan basically. So these are all few points to take away, to understand, and to apply in our life, so that we can make our sadhana strong, and make our mind, basically based on the sadhana, we can make our mind and heart strong, and not get entangled in this every small fight that happens, by others, so we do not create ourselves any miseries because of all this. So I'll stop here and we will open for discussions. I'm not qualified to answer any questions, but if there are any, I can see Devi Mataji is also here online, so I have some strength now. But please, we'll open for discussions. Any questions you have? Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you for your patience, for hearing. Yes, Shilpesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you, Mataji. A really nice talk. Great advice. The personalities you talk of, they were amazing saints. And they were in a much purer age than we were in. Yet they lost their heads. So what about us? Even the tiniest thing can throw us off. How do we become purer, and how do we not lose our heads when things happen with devotees or just in life? It's not easy. I know for me, the holy name and joining Maharaj's classes every day really helped me and helped purify me. But it's a long way to go still.
So Prabhu, I have one answer literally for this, that have patience and have complete faith in the process, because process works. Process definitely works, and it has been working since time immemorial. It's not just now. And even at the Krishna's time and before that, we see there are so many examples in Shrimad Bhagavatam, that how the greatest devotees, as I was mentioning, Daksha, he was coming in the line of, from Brahma himself, and he made the mistakes. He did whatever he did. So thing is that this is all, we all have those impurities, and it will go, but it will go slowly. So we should always have patience, that and enthusiasm, that it will happen. But the more we look at the positives, the negatives will go away. So always what I do, whenever thoughts like this or someone does something, I try to look at the good in the people. So it's always, if one person have one bad quality, then definitely they're hiding other 10 qualities within them. And it's always happens that, the softer part is sometimes stays inside and the harder part comes out. Because, if you put in the opposite situations, like, the juice, the things comes out, because it is what happens with us as well. If we put in the wrong situations, we will react differently, completely differently. And it has happened with many in the past as well. So yeah, have the complete faith on the process and on Srila Prabhupada as well, because Srila Prabhupada has, if you remember, Srila Prabhupada is such a pure devotee, and if we take the shelter of him, nothing in the life can go wrong. And take this word like Srila Prabhupada protects you from anything. He will definitely, his books and the holy name he has given, the chanting of the holy name. I've also always felt that, if this type of negative things comes in my mind, if you continuously chant, don't just wait for it to do. If you finish your 16 round, that's fine. 16 rounds you've done in the beats, but don't leave that Maha Mantra from your tongue. Don't let it go. Keep it on the tongue always, whatever you're doing. Apart from you, if you're talking to someone or if you're hearing a Vaishnava's class, that time you shouldn't chant, because that time you should hear. Because chanting at the time of Vaishnava giving the class is basically that is disrespect. But when you chant, it takes everything away, basically all the impurities. So best way to purify yourself is just continuously chant, and that will like clean you inside out completely. It's like a bathing. It's a soap with a big scrubber in it will scrub inside properly. That's my 2 pence from from my experience. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mati. Actually, just a comment. I was on a class yesterday, and it was about like how Rudra came out of Brahma's eyes due to anger, God. So she asked, why is it that we have Kam, Krad, Lob, and everything? And why can't we get rid of it? And she said that it's because it comes back, it's from lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes ago. And that's why it
Yes.
takes so long. That's why it takes so long for us to
It takes
purify.
so long, because what we are doing, Prabhu, here is we are trying to change our eternity completely. We are trying to go to that spiritual world, and making that hole in the spiritual world is not that easy. So, for a little jiva like us, like we are very small compared to what it's all, how the manifestation is there. So if we are changing our eternity from a material world to the spiritual world, it will take a lot of effort, time process. It's a complete, you know millions of years of dirt has been, it's on our heart. But it's a joyful process. The journey is very blissful. If we are in the association of the devotee, if the holy name is with us, if we have prasad in our plate, and if books to like Shrimad Bhagavatam to read, then the journey becomes very blissful, and it will be very quick as well. If we have the complete, it's a full package. It just doesn't work one thing, like, in Shrimad Bhagavatam, 5 things has been mentioned, deity greeting, reading of Shrimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, chanting the holy name, and visiting the dham. So this is the whole package. We have to do everything to be able to go. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We need a lot of mercy as well.
Mercy. Oh, yes, absolutely. Definitely. Okay. Cool. Anyone else would like to comment, realizations, or anything? It would be nice to discuss.
Danvat Pranam Mataji.
Jai, Jai, Trapti Mataji. Pranam to you too.
Yeah, I'm sorry I cannot turn the video on because I am driving, but listening, I didn't want to miss any second of that discourse. And thank you for explaining wonderfully and very clearly. And just to go back on the question on the Prabhu and your answer, just want to add that yes, patience is a virtue, and having patience, having faith, and chanting continuously, only not chanting when we are in association with devotee and engaging with them in their conversation. Other than that, I have been trying this and practicing it for 1 year, and believe me, it works. Just 24/7 on your tongue, automatically, mechanically, however you want to say, just keep chanting and having reading Prabhupada's book, having faith in him, trust in him, and it works wonders, it miracles, and it happened in 1 year with me. And I'm talking to you from my personal experience that it is just a wonderful, joyful journey, and the sacrifice is all worth it because the end result is amazing. That is all we have to remember. And I started very late on this journey, but I know, as Vishaka Mataji said, that never late. whenever you start, that's when your journey starts. It's fine. So that's all I want to say, that yes, having patience, and doing the sadhana, it's just it's so important, and not holding anything inside for anybody. um, that will lighten you all the time. If you hold anything, it will make you very heavy, and then there is no space for chanting, there's no space for God's name, there's no space for anything positive. So don't hold anything inside and leave everything out, and only thing should be inside is the name of Sri Radha Krishna, and all the ideals of Prabhupada, and Dasi. Good to go. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, Hari, Hari. Thank you so much, Trapti Mataji, for your so sweet comments. Thank you. If anyone don't know Shyamarani Mataji, Trapti Mataji, Shyamarani Mataji's elder sister. So very
Thank
nice
you.
to have your association, Mataji. Thank you so much. And Mataji
Thank
does so
you.
many services at the temple as well. She's been from last.
It's
Yeah,
the glory goes to all the Prabhupada and all the amazing devotees there, whose sangha, whose association is making everything possible. So it's not my
Prabhupada.
doing at all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Anyone else? Any comments, realizations? It'll be nice to know that how did you reacted? How did you felt if someone did something? And I'm sure we all have pastimes. Where things happens day in, day out with us, because we live in definitely, community full of people around with different nature, different, different upbringing. Yes, Devi Mataji, please go ahead. My humble obeisances to you, Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Gurudev, and all glories to his wonderful disciples like Satyabhama, who are really incorporating the philosophy into their lives, making it their life and soul, and then now giving the mercy to others. I'm very impressed with your class, Mataji. Very powerful and perfect in all ways, perfect in all the points that you made. Yes, this is a very joyful process. And yes, we need to remember not to make a mountain out of molehills, because in daily life, we'll come across so many irritants. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, one must excuse the minor offenses of others. So we are called upon to become bigger and better people than we were before through this practice of Bhakti Yoga. Not remain the same. And you're absolutely correct when you said to Shilpesh Prabhu that for millions and millions and uncountable lifetimes, we have been so steeped in the material energy. It's a huge paradigm shift. So constant application of the holy name, that's the only thing that will clean our hearts and allow us to see the reality, which is the spiritual world, not this place, which is just a temporary place, which Krishna says, Dukhalayam Shashvatam. So it's very wonderful. Your explanations, your very nice. I'm very, very grateful to you for practicing so nicely and helping others also now to practice nicely. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for your humble, so sweet comments. And you have always been such a inspiring, like you are my whole inspiration, basically. I remember the time when I started, when Guru Maharaj said that I want all my disciples to preach. And I was like, and I remember my first classes when I was taking it home. I called Mataji early in the morning. Mataji, what do I do? What do I say? And Mataji was so making me, encouraging me, inspiring me, and you have always been my inspiration, Mataji. You're like a role model disciple for us. And please keep us in your lotus feet so that we can serve Guru Maharaj nicely.
Please don't say all these things, Satyabhama. I think you're saying things to some other person, not to me, because I don't deserve all these accolades which you're saying. I am not a role model, nor am I anything. Seriously, if you know me as I am, then you will not say all these things. You're just
I know, yes, you
getting
are.
carried
This is why
away,
I'm
I
telling
think,
you.
little bit.
You're too humble. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Otherwise, we can actually, if we have finished the class early, it'll be nice to do one japa together as family. And just thinking of the Lord's name as we have been talking about the holy name. So be nice. Just give me a second minute. I'll just a second I'll bring my beat back. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. If you want, actually, you can unmute yourself. It will be nice to hear a nice sound vibration of of everyone's chanting, even though if it's not very clear. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.